Welcome to this week's Chunghwa Focus. I'm Helene Fong. There is no doubt that the coronavirus has hit Australia in ways that we've never seen or experienced before. As life and business return to normal in WA, what's the outlook for overseas students and the education sector? In this episode, we explore what the future holds for overseas students and the tertiary education sector, which contributed $935 million to the Australian economy before COVID. It's an unforeseen disaster, one that continues to overshadow Western Australia. The coronavirus pandemic caused overseas students hardship and forced tertiary education to change its way of teaching. As borders shut and students are locked in or out of WA, universities are certainly feeling the pinch.
This is a sector that relies on free movement of people, and so the inability of people to travel here to commence studying here face to face is having an impact, obviously.
And now it's become increasingly hard, obviously with the border closed, and then it's just impossible to actually physically go back home. So that is definitely something has been changed.
In the initial stages where we first went into restrictions in March, we had to transition all our courses online to adhere to the social distancing restrictions that the government has placed.
But with many classes and tutorials forced to go online, adapting to the new normal can be a challenge for both students and teachers who prefer face-to-face interactions.
If you're talking about other international students who I'm known of who are not able to come back to Australia, it is obviously a problem because just having online study, I think it's quite hard. Perth has relaxed the restrictions, so many universities and schools you are now allowed to go back and have physical face-to-face classes.
The hardship has become opportunities for some.
I think one of the reasons for that is that there have been quite a few international temporary residents in Western Australia on other visa categories such as tourist visas and also working holiday visas. And quite a few of those students have decided to remain in Western Australia during COVID-19 and opt to do some studies with TAFE Western Australia. So semester 2 this year, we had a reasonably good intake.
As Western Australia continues to control the COVID-19 virus, some educators see it as a chance to improve their own technology infrastructure going forward. And the future is a user-friendly online education experience for all students.
But it means that the university has been able to improve its virtual online activities as well and provide an even better service for those students that are down here at the moment.
We have the freedom to now go out and live as normal as we used to. So for students considering coming to Australia to study, Perth is definitely a very good place. We're healthy here, and also the economy is picking up really, really well.
With the hard border closure, many international students in Perth are facing some emotional difficulties. To discuss more about student assistance, Study Perth spokeswoman provided an insight about the latest situation into overseas students at an expo at Perth's Convention Centre.
So COVID has made international students feel increasingly vulnerable due to some of the restrictions and feeling away from home as well. So in April we launched the Study Perth Crisis Relief Program. So this is offering 2 weeks rent and food to any international student in acute need, and we review this fortnightly as well, so students can apply for more than once, and we're still supporting students now in October, so it's been quite some months that this is up and running. Another way that we're supporting students is through our International Student Meals Program, so we're actually providing meals to students that are in need of additional food and support in that sense. We've also recently opened the Study Perth Student Hub, which is on St George's Terrace, perfectly located, and that is a place for students to come and get assistance with finding employment, meeting other students, and also getting tips on budgeting and everything else that's very important at the moment in the current climate.
The inaugural International Students Expo held at Perth's Convention Centre is a must for many prospective students, parents and tertiary educators. But under COVID-19, the number of attendees have been affected as universities attempt to attract overseas students during this difficult climate, despite WA's success on pandemic control.
This initiative was very much brought on because we've still got 28,000 international students here in Western Australia, and it's very important to showcase the wonderful opportunities that are already here to extend their education and also enhance their career prospects as well. So very important time to develop the students that are here.
In 2019, international education contributed $37.6 billion to the Australian economy. It is the largest service-based export. It supported 240,000 jobs, business opportunities, and economic growth. Overseas students are some of the most affected during COVID. What kind of support do they get from the Australian government during this critical period? The Federal Acting Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, Alan Tudge, joins us.
Yeah, so it's a good question, and there's many international students who are here in Australia, and we've done a number of things to support them, not least of which is to enable people to access their superannuation immediately, and that can be several $1,000s. We've provided greater flexibility in terms of their work rights, in many cases being able to work up to 40 hours per week rather than 20 hours per week, and extended those opportunities. As well as we've encouraged the universities themselves to provide for welfare assistance for their students, because after all, the universities and the other tertiary institutions are charging significant fees, and they equally have an interest as well. And finally, we've put some additional money into emergency relief funds, which of course are accessible for anybody.
We have every reason to be proud of our great universities that attracted thousands of young people to call this their home away from home during their studies. It is part of our caring spirit that we support their well-being while they're in Australia. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.